I'll do what I want in my own yard. Okay, I'll make it impossible to enjoy your air. Last spring, my saint of a neighbor sold her house and moved away. The people who moved in were awful. The guy, we'll call him Pete, owns a black Mustang that sounds like it has no muffler. He revs it up and down our subdivision streets 5 days a week when everyone's sitting on their porches trying to relax. It's relentless. He also drives up and down the state highway behind my house, doing the same thing but louder because it's 55 miles per hour. You can hear it for miles. And he has friends over regularly who sit in his backyard, revving up the car. It's so loud you cannot do anything but wait for him to be done. A bunch of neighbors politely asked him to stop in our HOA Facebook group. Pete's exact response: I pay a lot of money for this house. I'll do what I want in my own yard. And the streets are public. Well, I didn't like that. So here's what I did next. Our subdivision has 150 houses on 300 acres. Most properties are between 1 to 4 acres. I have a 3-acre corner lot. Due to a land split 10 years ago, Pete's house sits on the smallest piece of property in the subdivision, just 0.45 acres. His entire property is bordered by 10-foot white vinyl privacy fences on every side, except the side facing my house. Now, I know from 15 years of living here that anytime I have a fire on the side of my yard next to Pete's, the smoke travels directly into his backyard. I know this because I couldn't ever have a fire when my old neighbor was outside. It would literally fill her yard with smoke if the wood had even a hint of moisture. So about a dozen years ago, I moved my fire pit to the other side of my house to be a good neighbor. But Pete letting me know he wouldn't quit making noise reminded me that I just loved having my fire pit right in the middle of my backyard. It took me a single weekend to dig up the pavers and blocks, move them back to my preferred spot, and get a fire going. I just needed to wait until Pete had people over. I made sure the inaugural fire was a good one. Pete had friends over, it was a nice day, so I started the fire. Got it just about started. Then I added all the wettest, grossest wood I could find. About 10 minutes later, Pete and his friends were visibly upset by the stench, and they all went inside. They came back out later. I added more wet, nasty wood. They went in again. I kept that up the entire day, then added grass clippings to keep it going overnight. The next day, it was still smoldering, still smelling awful. I posted on the HOA Facebook page that I'd be utilizing my fire pit as often as possible so neighbors could bring me their lawn scraps. 20 people responded in a few hours saying their clippings were all mine. I kept that fire going. My dogs are good alarms. They rush outside anytime anybody is in Pete's backyard, so I'd hear them scramble, go out, and add more clipping. After about 3 weeks, Pete and his wife came over and very kindly asked me what was going on with the fire pit. She very politely informed me that her hair would smell like a campfire if she went into their backyard for any amount of time, and they could smell it coming into their house through the ductwork. He said I was making it hard for him to enjoy his backyard with his friends. They asked if I could ease back because I probably didn't know it was impacting their home life. I looked at both of them and said it was clear that sometimes we don't recognize how big of an effect something can have on our neighbors until they tell us about it. But then I said, as objectively as possible, that I normally live by the same "I'll do what I want in my yard" thought process as Pete does. I have a right to enjoy my yard. I looked Pete dead in the eyes and said, "And I know you support that because of how the conversation concluded about your car, right, Pete?" He looked at me like I scratched his favorite CD. He knew exactly what I was doing. His wife looked at him and it just dawned on her. She said she gets it and we won't hear the Mustang anymore. I took a gamble and put the fire out right after that. It was the right call. I haven't heard the Mustang since.